Perfect. Well, good evening to everyone that's attended. Thank you for taking your time to attend this session to get a bit more information about the correlation between doTerra oils, NLP techniques, and hypnotherapy. I'll give you a little bit about my background. Who am I? For the people that don't know me, the people that do know me, I'm sorry to bore you again. All right, so who am I? Sarah. Sarah Chemaissem is my surname. I've been practicing NLP, hypnotherapy, and timeline therapy for a bit over a year. Prior to that, been helping people in all walks of life in different ways. In that process, for the past 10 years, I've been dealing with oils, doTerra, and with the field that I'm in right now, I've somehow managed to incorporate everything. I'll give you a little bit more about my personal life. I've got 3 children, very active children, I must say. So I'm very glad that they're sitting quietly while I'm doing this Zoom. And I'm sure you guys have kids as well. And the ones that do, understand. Why are we doing this session? This session is mainly to get everybody a bit more aware what doTerra oils are, how they can change your life in, spiritual growth, health, inside and out. Also, how when you combine NLP, which will brief on that and explain what NLP for the ones that don't know what that stands for, how when you have those together, you can feel whole and fulfilled moving forward with your life, dealing with anxieties, depression, traumas, could be even sexual abuse, any type of background that you may have come from and the walks of life. Moving forward from that, I usually like to start my sessions by explaining that we all have 3 very important needs, and I've called it EPS. So it's your emotional, your physical, and your spiritual well-being. If you're not congruent with all 3 at some aspect of your life, you will fall off the tracks one way or the other at one point. You will feel a bit uncomfortable, sad, anxiety will be triggered, you might have some fear, a lot would happen. So the reason why I like to always explain what EPS is because EPS should be a part of everyone's life and well-being. Now, if we don't have any congruency with our emotional state and our physical state, and with that, our spiritual state, we feel unaligned. Introducing oils helps us get more congruent with our physical and mental state to a certain degree. It's a start, because we all got to start somewhere, right? Just smelling something nice allows your mind to calm down. Having, like a pill that's only natural calms your nerves, calms your solar plexus, your gut, and all that. But then if you're only doing this and your physical body is lagging or lacking from something, you're not congruent. You're just detached from your own self. So then you feel, well, the oils aren't working. What the heck? There's something else wrong. That's where you come in and you notice, okay, it's my physical body. What am I doing to sustain myself, to keep moving forward? Am I moving more often? Am I putting more effort in the way I move when I clean? Let's just say for the people that don't go to the gym, am I cleaning so I can get fitness out of it, or am I cleaning because it's a chore? Because they're 2 different things. And when you change your perspective on the way you do things, your mind changes that belief into a new representational system, and you create growth from that moving forward. Now, when you have those 2, okay, amazing, but then there's one more missing to create that full capacity of congruency, and that's spirituality. Whatever you may be, whatever your religion, spiritual beliefs, whatever it may be, that's not my problem. The question is, do you have a higher power that you follow? Because when we don't have something to go off, we don't have that, how can I say, that perspective or aspect of life to keep us grounded. It's like a grounding thing. So if, let's just say, you've got a connection with a higher power through any type of religion or energy, the quantum field of energy, whatever it may be, if you feel that connection, you're more grounded. And when you're more grounded and your physical body is attained, and then your belief system and your emotional side has been fulfilled, you have fulfilled all aspects within yourself. Then you actually feel, wow, I'm on cloud 9. Wouldn't anyone want to feel and want to be on cloud 9, really?
Well, it's quite interesting.
And some people think, oh, it's not true.
No, actually, it's really interesting. As you're talking, when I saw my naturopath, like literally last week, I started with oils, and then it led me to naturopathy to deal with my gut health. And as I was talking to her, she started going into my emotional well-being. And she said, I think you should start seeing someone and talk about things. That's how I came across you, Sarah, actually, and I booked my appointment in. And she said the amount of people that she sees who come to her for physical ailments first, and then they have this transformation with their spiritual and emotional state, is unbelievable. And it makes sense because you need to do all three to be at peace. And you just start with one and then work on the rest. You don't have to work on all three at once.
Yeah, 100%. You're right. See, you went there and she noticed there was issues with the gut, right? And you went to cleanse or detox, whatever it may be. But then as much as she can give you, there will be a stop somewhere.
The standstill.
You can't go beyond that. Exactly. And you're like, okay, but it's not working anymore. Okay, because emotionally, your body, your physical body internally, okay, has reached a peak, but there's something else to make it grow up and go higher. And that's your emotional state. So they need to be congruent. So it's like they're combined. When you have both of those, you also need the spiritual side. So it's the physical with the internal things that you take to clean your gut, and how, you see food, in what eye you see food. Food is more for energy, to attain energy, to keep moving forward. It's not just so I can submerge in it and enjoy life. Yeah, you can have those moments. You don't want to be very strict, but it's more like about structure to keep your body clean, pretty much. But when your body's clean and you're at that point, your mind needs to be within that essence. So if you've got past event traumas that have happened, they've created other things in your life, like anxiety that may have provoked you to go see a naturopath, or maybe it's the food, and she clears that to a certain degree. But hold on, now I'm finding another problem. Where is that coming from? So she obviously has gone and said, well, it's an emotional thing. You need to now work on your emotions. There's something going on that I can't do. And then you've come to me. Absolutely. That's what I do, utilizing NLP. We work through the emotions, find the connections, and then release that so you can just get the learnings and move forward in life. And then create that connection of spirituality as well, and teach you all three modalities so you can keep growing, moving forward.
Beautiful. Do you want me to click ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what NLP helps? The inside world, so your internal representation of the world within yourself. It helps OCD, ADHD, stress levels, PTSD, traumas, depression, quit smoking, Tourette syndrome, and many other things. That's just a summary, okay? Now, the outside world, when you utilize NLP, what NLP helps, the change of your career, your education, so your perspective on life and what you want to do and what you want to attain, training, how much effort, strength, and whatnot, the stamina that you have in training, sales, the language that you use, the leadership skills, marketing, and goal setting. So NLP is not just working on your emotions and trauma. You don't have to come from a traumatic family or issues or something to come and utilize somebody that has that certified NLP practitioner to grow in life. You don't have to come from trauma or stress. You can just come focusing on career growth. And I just want to attain that. So it works inside and outside your life. Is everybody understanding this? Does anyone have any questions?
That sounds like a business coach, actually. Very similar to what you're saying there. So it's about utilizing yourself. Yeah. But exactly. I want to see the chat. If there's anyone have any questions on the chat?
Thank you, Hannah, for the comment.
From Instagram. Hi. Okay. Do you want me to continue going?
Yeah, let's go to the next part.
Beautiful.
So moving along, what oils help? Now let's look at the correlation between both a little bit. So the inside world, going back to the internal representation, it helps with stress reduction, inner healing, mood improvement, energy increase, hormonal imbalance for people that have PCOS, cysts, IBS, and whatnot. Hormonal, we mentioned that. Anxiety reduction. For anybody that struggles with fear and of the unknown and to move forward, it definitely changes your mood just by smelling some oils for all that, or even applying the oils or having any of the oils, which we'll go ahead and explain in depth further on. Eczema reduction for people that suffer any eczema. Digestion, one very important thing. Oils, when you combine oils in your everyday living, you will notice not only your neurology improves, but your digestive system improves because your neurology has taken that next step of feeling happy, creating those beautiful happy endorphins within you, and the serotonin and dopamine and everything starts to balance out, and then you become more congruent internally. So it definitely helps with the digestions of your intestines. How does it help the oils on the outside? Will change of perspective, once again, similar to NLP. So whatever you smell, the olfactory of your mind through the sense of smell creates a different perspective on life externally. I'm not sure anybody here that's already used oils and knows the difference, but when you do smell something nice and you walk into a shop, you feel at peace, you know? Or you're going shopping and you smell a really nice candle. It's like, I want to buy something from here, but you don't know why. There's something that's drawing you. So the outer perspective of life is utilized through smells, and oils is another big role of that, especially when they're very clean, cold pressed type of oil. It helps you to become more calm. So if you did walk into a shop and they've got lavender running, you will feel at ease and calm while your kids are screaming. You'll be like, I'm trying to balance that and that, but there's something making me feel calm. That's the oils again. You become more in control, feeling happy, at peace. It helps with your emotional management and control, goal setting, and memory and focus. I just want to state something in regards to memory and focus. If you had rosemary in your garden, let's say, this is the oil. I've got rosemary in my garden. If you actually smell that when you're in the middle of studying, it opens your mind and brain waves to absorb more information without getting that headache. So it's definitely something I use all the time. I give to my kids. I dilute it with a carrier oil and I put it on their temples, behind their ears, behind their necks, just to help them with their concentration and just feeling more at ease and peace.
Can they diffuse as well? Same benefits?
The benefits are stronger when it's on the body than it is in the diffuse, but in the diffuse, it definitely helps.
Okay, beautiful.
All right, let's move along to the next one. Does anyone have any questions about this? As we move along, please just put up your hand.
Do you know any other oils, Sarah? Because I get asked this a lot for focus. I usually recommend In Tune as well, the focus blend from doTerra. It's one of my favorites. I love that. When I feel flustered, I actually put it on my temples as well. Rosemary, I usually diffuse with Citrus Bliss. Sometimes when any citrus oil with rosemary, I like the smell of that. Do you have any other focus oils that you know?
Yes, I definitely recommend when you put patchouli with balance. The patchouli, this one,
patchouli balance.
Okay, but with balance.
Balance is my favorite.
Okay, it creates it's a subtle smell. Okay, balance is a little bit, this is very flowery, very fresh. The balance is more minty and towards that family. And then when you utilize this warm smell together, it definitely helps. 100%.
Beautiful. And I'm just looking at the chat. I've put
them
down here. Yeah, go for it.
So was this for focusing?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I've written in the chat the names of the oils if you want a screenshot.
Yep, no, thank you.
Beautiful. You want me to skip ahead?
Yeah, if nobody's got questions on this.
No one? Feel free to unmute. Okay.
Awesome. Now, what does NLP stand for the people that are freaking out? What is NLP? What is this woman talking about? Never heard of this thing in my life. All right, neuro-linguistic programming. I'll read through what I've got up here on the screen. You can read through that as well. So your neurology pretty much. Each individual has established their own unique mental filtering system for processing the millions of bits of data being absorbed through their senses. Our first mental map of the world is constituted of internal images, sounds, tactile awareness, internal sensation, taste, smells, that's why we're talking about oils, and the correlation that form as a result of the neurological filtering process. Now, the first mental map is called first axis, which is the part of NLP. Linguistic, what does the L stand for? Linguistic is obviously language, for the ones that don't know. We then assign personal meaning to the information being received from the world outside. We form our second mental map by assigning language to the internal images, sounds and feeling, tastes and smells. Once again, thus forming everyday conscious awareness. And the second mental map is called the linguistic map, sometimes known as linguistic representation. So your internal representation of your current world. Programming. So the behavioral response that occurs as a result of neurological filtering processes and the subsequent linguistic map. Why have they made it sound so complicated? It's not so complicated.
Yeah, I'm like, what is that?
Okay, so
my brain just went, ugh.
yeah, that's a lot of information for a lot of you out there, right? Okay, it pretty much, NLP, so people that know what a psychologist is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Counselors, excellent. So what are they called? Community service workers, people that help you with your mental health and all that. NLP is similar, but on a different level, different approach. So what we actually do, we tap into your mind, neurology, okay, utilizing language with the linguistic part to unbreak the barriers of restrictions you have created through conditioning yourself over the years of, growing up, childhood, beliefs, values, and all that. And we reprogram that according to your wants, needs, the new future beliefs that you want to attain, or stuck states that you're in that you want to come out of. That's a summary of what NLP is. So we're just working with your mind, the way you process information, utilizing language, and then from that, we actually reprogram it, also utilizing language. So that's what NLP stands for, pretty much summed up. Did that make sense?
Well, in the chat, it was called magic. So when you're reprogramming someone's mind, that sounds like magic to me.
But it's not. It's language. Mm-hmm. Language is, one of the main things in life, and it's very important to know how to use language and the tongue, because it could be either the most beneficial thing for somebody or the most harsh thing for somebody.
Absolutely. As an ex-teacher, now that I'm at this stage in my life, I'm like, how many times did the language I use could have affected a student of mine? Yeah, you can have 120 students and you have no idea the impact that your words could have had on our kids, on our students, on family members. So I can understand that the positive use of language can have the opposite effect.
100%, and it creates a great impact if you know how to use it to your benefit, not to manipulate people, but to improving society and your family, your kids, schooling, whatever it is that you work in. It'll only, and it's not, and I'm not saying you've got to be diplomatic. It's just the way you form the language and the sentences, how you send that message across, and change somebody's perspective in life to move forward and grow. So if somebody's coming to me with a problem, that's what I do. That's what NLP is pretty much. I just use certain language to, I'm not going to say manipulate, but how can I put it? To rewire your neurotransmitters of the mind and create new belief systems and new neuro pathways to get you to where you want, as long as it's ecological.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
That is cool. That is cool. Okay, I'll move on.
Okay. Yes. All right, what is NLP? That's neuro-linguistic programming. This is just a bit more in depth, but I will just look at the chart for a second. I don't think I can zoom in here, but I'll look at it in my booklet. So NLP, the nervous system process our experience by our senses, the linguistic, the communication systems through which our experiences are given meaning to. So for example, through pictures, sounds, feeling, taste, smells, and self-talk. We briefed on that before. Programming, how we communicate with ourselves and each other to achieve our goals. What does that mean? It's not just also the information you're receiving from outside. What do you sit there and tell yourself inside? That's a very strong factor in your life.
The self-talk.
100%. Whatever you say is how you perceive your life to be. If you think, you don't trust people and you don't trust yourself enough, you cannot trust others, right? So that's the little self-talk. Oh, I'm so ugly this morning, I look in the mirror. That's self-talk. So that's your own perception of your own internal life, right? The more you create negative language, your unconscious mind begins to believe it. And then your conscious mind also begins to believe it. So we've got two. We've got the conscious mind, which I'm utilizing right now, speaking to all of you. It's a logical mind. And then you've got the unconscious mind. What is that? That's the mind, the self-talk. When you're sitting watching a TV or movie or whatnot, somebody starts talking to you, okay? And you're like, yeah, but you heard them, but you didn't really respond to give them a proper answer. Has anybody gone through that? Okay, that's your unconscious mind. So I'm like, okay. Because you're so focused and your conscience is asleep. That's your unconscious. All right. In that process, okay, you're not absorbing the external information. It's just going right through. And then when there's a commercial, you tell yourself, I'm going to sleep. And then when it starts, I'm going to wake up. How do you know how to do that? Right? That's now hypnosis. You've self-hypnotized yourself, utilizing your own suggestions to your mind. You've just told your mind, I'm going to sleep. And when it starts again, I'm going to wake up. And you close your eyes. And how do you know that this is the last commercial to open up your eyes? How do you know that? How's that possible? It's you're trusting your intuition, utilizing your unconscious mind, accepting the suggestions. I'll know when it's going to start. And somehow you'll create that connection to the picture that's on the TV and the sound that's coming through, right? And then you open up your eyes and like, okay, I'm here again. And then you start to become alert and shake up out of it. And then you do it again. So that's your internal representation of how you control, manipulate your own mind. Hypnosis, on the other hand, when you come to somebody and do hypnosis with them, they actually provide you the suggestions. It's not your mind doing it to you. It's me doing it to you. We'll dive into that a bit more deeper moving forward. Did everyone get that?
Yeah, that's interesting.
All right. What is hypnotherapy? I sort of done a brief on that prior, but what is it exactly? It's a procedure whereby the subject is put into a trance state. So see how I was saying if you're watching a movie and then the commercial comes and you close your eyes, you're in a deep trance. That level trance would be anywhere between alpha and theta. But when someone's talking to you and you're focused, you're in a trance. You're not listening to them. That's trance. When you're driving the car and then you don't know how to stop because you're focused somewhere else, you're in trance. You've just put yourself in hypnosis.
I feel like I go into a trance when I'm driving all the time. I'm like, wait, where am I? Like, oh, I've gone.
And then it's like, you wake up.
I believe is that my unconscious mind has driven because I know how to drive, but I'm really thinking about other things. That's so freaky, but
it is. It's like right now.
Like when the kids talk to me, it's like, oh yeah, because your focus is somewhere else. So your unconscious mind saying, oh, great job.
Okay.
Well done. It's so bad. I know.
But you're not giving them the full attention.
Yeah.
Okay. And like right now, you're speaking and you're moving your hands, right?
Always.
But you're speaking. So you're consciously aware of what you're saying, but you're unconscious of what you're doing. So your brain is working two ways right now.
Wow.
Two things are happening.
My poor brain, because I always do this.
So it's your brain is doing one thing with the talking and the speaking and the external representation of what you're providing to somebody through language. And then your internal representation to align that, make it congruent, you're moving your hands accordingly.
Wow.
So you need both. You can't live with one or without the other. Okay.
But you're not thinking about it though. Like I wasn't thinking about it. It just
no. But now that I told you, you're probably going to be very aware every time you move your hand and you do that, right? Because I brought it to your conscious awareness.
Yes, that is wow.
All right. So looking at hypnosis, what is it? So there's levels of hypnotherapy. The top level is beta. This is right now. We're all listening. We're all talking. We're all, responding. We're all at this level, really fast paced with our brain. We're absorbing information. When I start to slow down, your mind begins to slow down. And when I do that and I create pauses with my language, so does your mind. When that happens, you begin to fall into alpha. And then when you fall into alpha, you begin to accept the suggestions I tell you, like you will right now. Can everyone feel that? See my language slowed down? So did you. That's that stage. Then you drop from there and you go down to theta. You go even more deeper and deeper down while your conscious mind becomes more and more asleep. And your unconscious mind comes out to listen. So now, whatever I say, you will begin to believe and accept. If it falls within your values, beliefs, whatever you may have within yourself. And then the deeper I go, by slowing my tone, you go into delta. I don't talk, I begin to fall asleep. That becomes a problem. Those are the levels of hypnosis. Now, when I do hypnotherapy sessions with my clients, I know which level they're at, utilizing and looking and observing their physiology. Hypnotherapy's got a very bad name out there. People think it's magic, and people do the wrong things. It's not that. Nowhere near that. Far-fetched from me. Hypnosis is just somebody that accepts suggestions from somebody that they trust in order to improve their life in one way or another. Pretty much somebody.
Can you expand on this part where you said it will fall within your values? I think you gave me a good example about the hijabi woman who, the stage shows over the phone. I was like, because I was freaking out about hypnosis. I'm like, I don't want anybody to go into my mind, because what if I would do something that I wouldn't be comfortable doing? And you're like, it doesn't work that way.
100%. So there was a scenario where there was a stage show and everyone in that stage front was hypnotized. Okay? They were all in deep trance. Obviously, the language that was used, like what we just did now. Did you feel like your mind started to sleep a little bit? Started to go in a light level of trance, right? When I'm talking. Now, these people were all in trance. The guy at the front of the host, pretty much, he was saying, I want whoever wants to come up here, the first 5 people, please come up. Now, the most suggestible people, the people that are open for suggestions, will actually go up. They had I think 6, 7 people up on the stage. One woman happened to have worn the scarf. He would go and tap someone, get up and dance, do this, and people would do that, and then the audience would start laughing because obviously they were out of trance, but these ones were hypnotized. Okay. In that process, one lady, I forgot what it was that he told her, whether it was to dance, to lift up something, or sing. She stopped and looked at him and said, hell no. What happened there? What did she do?
She's like, I would never do that in public, so I'm not going to do it now. It doesn't fall within my values.
It doesn't fall within her values, her beliefs, her representational systems of her life, right? So however her upbringing is or her beliefs, she refused to accept something like that. So it doesn't fall within my boundaries of acceptance to do something like that in public. So no. So she naturally fell out of, let's say she was in theater, went all the way back up to beta like I'm talking now. She's like, no. And then she went and sat back down. So who was in control, her or the guy?
Her.
Exactly. So you have full control being in hypnosis, because all it is, you're just following suggestions. If the suggestions fall within your beliefs, values, and worth and whatnot, then it'll work for you. If something doesn't, then that's a problem, because you come out and you benefit absolutely nothing the waste of your money. But the practitioner that you deal with will know what your beliefs, values are, and create a script around what you believe to get you the right information in the right language to embed in your mind to get to where you want to go, let's just say. So they know they're not going to bump into. So let's say I had a client of mine that I knew didn't believe in voodoo and all this stuff, and another client that did. The one that did, I had to put that in the script because it would just make them go deeper. But the other one would definitely be like, she's stupid. Like their conscious mind will start speaking and the unconscious mind will become awake. It will just get. Did you get what I mean? Does that make sense?
I heard one of your clients' daughters would get out of trance quickly. She's like, I don't want you to do what you're doing. Can that happen?
Yeah. Because she feels something's going in her brain, something's happening.
Do you find kids try to break out of the trance more than adults because they kind of don't really know what's happening? Like you can't explain it to them? Because
they're so little, and I start with kids at the age of 7, I can't exactly tell them I'm going to do hypnosis because they're not going to understand, right? Yeah. So I just tell them a story and they go in hypnosis and then they realize they're falling asleep. What are you doing? Stop. And it's like, okay, and then I do it again.
Oh, what happened, Sarah? You froze.
That you were talking about had eczema.
Yeah, eczema.
And, yeah, eczema, psoriasis, and she also had an eating problem. She refused to eat anything. This girl will not eat anything. She was almost like vegan. She was picky. After just one session, this girl started to eat everything. Nothing was a problem, and the eczema started to disappear within the first few days. Why is that? Because she was so suggestible. They're little. They're like sponges. They're so easy. to absorb information. But she'd come out of it and like, what are you doing? But then I'll put it back in. Some adults do that if they're afraid, if they've got a lot of fear. That's why I do something called timeline therapy prior to clear their emotions. So when I do work with hypnosis, everything that was attached to their past traumas, stress, or whatnot is eliminated, and we can just dive in without them coming out of it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of your strengths is that you have so many different therapies. You take everything that client would need.
That's right. That's right.
I don't think many people have. Well, someone said in the chat, kids are in trance when they watch TV. Would you agree with that? Absolutely.
They are, and unfortunately, that's all I can say.
Yeah. And I have Fatima asking, can this help kids with speech problems like having a block?
Yes.
Linguistic problems. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, of course, because we just teach them how to use language through hypnosis plus timeline therapy to see why do they have a speech problem. Usually children with speech problems, it depends what speech problem you're saying. Is it like thinking they say too many things because they're excited? Or is it speech problem because they don't know how to send the message across, so they go on a pause? It depends which one. Each one has some sort of association to an event from 0 to 7 years old that's caused that lag to happen. Something's happened. Their voice wasn't heard by mum and dad. So then they start to choke and they don't want to say words. Some may be when they're very excited and stuttering and want to send the message across. Also, it could be because they weren't heard and now they need to send it very quickly to get the information there. So they stutter. So definitely there is hypnotherapy, and timeline therapy helps the process for children. But being a practitioner, I'd have to find what triggered it to begin with. Because without the trigger, I can't fix something moving forward.
Beautiful. And again, as with all natural approaches, I feel like it's getting down to the root cause, not surface type of remedies. It's what is the root cause, fix that to fix what your body.
Exactly. It's like a domino effect. Find the root cause. Prior to the root cause, there was nothing wrong with the problem. There was nothing wrong with the human, sorry. There was absolutely nothing. They were a normal human being, right? Something happened that caused this domino effect with problems. So I just go back, clear it. So moving forward, everything gets cleared on their timeline, which is their life.
We have, can you help autistic children or children with high anxiety, even if they had no real trauma?
Yes. Autistic children comes from energy, what's happened with the mother and what she perceived while she's pregnant. What was going on prior to pregnancy, while she is pregnant. Something's happened with her that's caused some sort of energy that's created this child to be born, let's just say, with autism. So they can't sense and be able to articulate their emotions. So this child is now a symptom of the mother's problem. So if anything, the mom is the one that needs to get the fix first to understand what was going in order to help the child. And once her perspective changes that her child is not sick and there's nothing wrong with her, she can actually help the child to go through that and reverse it as much as she can. Now, it's not 100% reverse, but almost 99%.
Beautiful. All right.
Anxiety, yes, same thing. Same thing. But anxiety with kids, it's not from, it could be from the womb, but it also could be from fear. Something's going on in their life, hearing maybe loud noise, screaming, something like that. It heightens their fear, and the fear provokes anxiety.
Only the mum? What about the dad? So is it just the mother
both.
Pregnant?
Well, when the mother's pregnant, when it comes to autistic child, something's happened in her life, whether it's external or internal, whether it's her childhood or with her partner. That's made her to believe or panic or something unconscious. She's not aware of it. And some people are aware of it, right? That's caused some neurological problem with the child when they're born. And then that energy has been perceived on this kid and that belief. And then they go to the doctor to get a symptom. What is wrong with this kid? They always want to find out. But dude, it started with you. Let's fix you to be able to fix the symptom of this child, because always the kid is a symptom and side effect of the parents' problems, traumas, and backgrounds.
Absolutely. And we've got, how about postnatal depression? Could you work with people, clients like that?
Postnatal, yes, I work with a lot of people like that. That's just trying to rewire the mind to think and have new belief systems to move forward in life. That's a very easy process. It doesn't happen overnight because you've been conditioned for a while to have that. Depends how long you've had the problem. Let's say you've had it for 2-3 weeks, then it will be quicker to deal with. If it's 6 months, then it'll be a bit more longer because you've been conditioned now to feel that way for such a long time that it takes us time to continue to have the new belief to get out of that state of feeling depressed, lonely, down, crap, blues, and all those things that come with it. 2 years.
2
So
years.
it'll probably take you 6 months,
Wow. Yeah.
up to 6 months. If you work really hard with me and you work or with somebody else that's a practitioner and you put your mind, you're ready to let go, it'll be much faster.
That's beautiful. Oh, lovely.
All right.
All the energy of everybody with their comments, they're loving it so far.
Awesome.
Like, I'm so glad I'm on here. So now let's get to the limbic system, the oils as well. So we've got another question. I know you would try to move a child from the session so he doesn't cop the negative energy. How would you deal with pregnant ladies? Oh, that's a good one. So you take out, like if I'm coming to see you and I have a young child, you would take the child out of the room because there's negative energy in the room.
When I do timeline therapy.
Yeah. So what if I was pregnant while you're doing timeline? You wouldn't do it on a pregnant woman?
No, I do. I do, because that person with the problem is giving the problem to the kid. When they release the problem, the child in the womb is releasing. You get it?
They're not surrounded, they're in it.
Exactly. They're actually within the womb. They're a part of the body. The umbilical cord is a part of the emotional system of that human being that's carrying the child.
I'm just mind blown the whole time. This is brilliant. And it's just quite interesting how the more I learn, I realize I know nothing. The more I learn about everything, it's just really interesting that there's so much out there that can help people. And I know a lot of people do struggle with that emotional baggage. So it's
100%.
options for people. All right, limbic system, using oils. You want to give us some examples of oils and how to use them would be awesome.
All right. So how to use oils for emotional wellness. The limbic system is responsible for your emotion, behavior, motivation, memory, and learning. Therefore, when you inhale tiny molecules of essential oils, you are communicating directly with your feeling area of the brain, which means you're opening up the frontal lobe of your brain to accept information, if that makes sense. Anybody knows anything in the structure of the brain, how it works? Let's say I'm anxious, I've got anxiety for whatever reason, okay, and I don't have that control, and I decide to inhale lavender because it's a calming type of flower. And as I inhale that, I'm actually opening up my frontal lobe to begin to relax. And when that happens, the neurotransmitters in my mind begin to accept that essence going through to create that actual balance within the mind. So it's even like people with asthma, when they take the puffer, why is it it's not medication? It's like something that's getting blown in them, right? It's going into the lungs, expanding the lungs and those little veins so they can get oxygen again, right? It's the same thing with oils when, let's just say, you've got anxiety or stress. When you inhale it, it's doing the same thing, but except not in your lungs, it's in your brain. And then when you mix them into a fragrance-free body lotion or soaps, adding a few drops of essential oils to a carrier oil such as coconut, sweet almond, or even olive oil, which I use all the time, and massage little babies, massage yourself, your hands, your husband, your kids, whatever it is, massage it in yourself, your chest. It helps that release because it starts to get absorbed within your skin as well. Adding the oils to the diffuser or oil burner. That's another great way, but make sure that the oil that you're putting in the oil burner can handle that much heat, yeah? That's very important to know because then it could do the opposite reaction and create toxic air.
I don't usually recommend oil burners in general because I don't know which oils go with which.
I don't usually like them, but some people do, so you've got to be very careful.
Yeah.
The oil.
Lavender as calming oils. Can you just give us a couple of other options for people? Some people don't like lavender.
Calming oils, you've got cedarwood, copaiba. That's my favorite with, where is it? There are marjoram. Where is it? No, because this one's actually a lot stronger. I don't know where it is. Could be in my office actually. It's not here. Copaiba, cedarwood, and you've got marjoram.
That's so interesting.
That's how
Marjoram.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, marjoram.
Okay, it's like
muscles.
It actually is a relaxant, and when you're stressed.
Okay.
That's why people, when they're on drugs and they go on cocaine and marijuana, so they can become relaxed from their anxiety and fear, right? But we're not actually taking it orally, we're taking it externally. So we're inhaling it, that's it. Getting the same results in a different way, not as heavy as when you actually do it in like a pot or something like that.
So we've got vetiver. Did you say vetiver?
Yeah, that one's very good for concentration though, as well. Concentration levels, stress levels, but definitely concentration. If you mix that with rosemary, that's a good one because it's very heavy and thick. So you need to dilute it a bit as well. and sent directly from the bottle. So you can also digest the oil in water, like for example, lemon. Okay, you have to make sure and read the instructions on the bottle. Lemon is a great way. It's high in alkaline. Okay, lemon is actually a fruit, not a vegetable, but it's high in alkaline. What is alkaline for people that don't know? It's how am I going to explain that one? Alkaline is pretty much like a detox for your body that creates a lining and doesn't and reforms your stomach so you don't accept the acid and just reframes the acid to calm down. So people that have high acidic heartburns and whatnot would need something to lessen the acid. So they need a higher alkalized diet with vegetables, a lot of greens, certain legumes, lemons, things like that. Bring up their alkaline level, reduces the inflammation in the stomach and also their heartburn and acidic stomach that they have. So that's another good one. And it's good to actually just bottle of water. You can't buy alkalized water, drop it in there. You've just created alkaline in water. If you buy those little things that you check the pH levels of the water, you'll find that's actually a strong level just by putting a bit of oil, one drop.
Just on a side note, don't do it in a plastic bottle. It will melt. So do glass or stainless steel.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks for that, actually. And then I've just got a little note at the bottom.
Essential oil stuff, I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about with those. But the other things, like mind blown.
So if your values are not being met, you will not feel fulfilled no matter what you do. Does that make sense?
Say it again, please.
So if your values are not being met, you will not feel fulfilled no matter what you do. It's just a quote that I've got at the bottom of the page. Why is that? Does anyone know the answer to that? Let's get some interactions.
Unmute yourself, ladies.
Nobody? Come on.
Man, there's free oils for answering.
Come on. I'm going to do all the talking tonight. Really?
So say it again.
So if your values are not being met, you will not feel fulfilled no matter what you do. Do you know why that happens?
And it's at the bottom.
Can I answer?
Yeah, go for it.
Yes, Ejida.
Because everyone has values in life, okay? And if, let's say you tell me to do something that I don't value, I will not be happy. No matter what I do, I will not feel content. But if you tell me to do something like I value, like let's say pray 5 times a day, then I'll be over the moon and so happy, and then I will feel fulfilled. Is that kind of right?
Yeah, so you become congruent. And then when your values aren't being met, it's also sometimes because your expectations are high.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Got to drop the expectations a few levels and just humble yourself so you can just go with the flow sometimes, so you don't feel that you have a high expectation of everything that you believe in, because when you do that, you become very rigid and you can't really move forward in life and get along with people. So when your values are so high, it creates a high expectation. When you drop that a notch, even though your value is still there, but drop the expectation of the value and people's beliefs and just accept them as how they are and what they are. When they throw something that isn't aligned with your value, you can sort of go with the flow of it.
Okay.
Yes. And is that like perfectionists who therefore generally have high anxiety because you're trying to
that's always a connection, OCD there.
yeah, because it's just impossible and you're just putting these expectations on yourself that are so difficult.
Exhausting, super exhausting.
Definitely.
Okay.
A lot of people have that with cleaning of the home, and when it's not clean leads to anxiety. I personally am one of those people, and I felt it really a lot in COVID because we were stuck at home. So I'm the type, if I'm not at home and my bed's not done, I'm not at home, I can let it go. But if it's there in my face, I can feel it, like it is weighing down on me. And it's like, why is that? Like, you got toddlers. It's okay that the house has toys all over the floor. And I think that's...
Do you know why that happens?
No idea. You're going to analyze me right now.
That means that you don't have certain control over other parts of your life that you value most. So then you create OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder, which means I've got to clean more, I've got to do this because now I'm going to create a new control system somewhere else because I don't have control over other things.
But isn't it interesting? Because we can never be in control of our lives. Everything. So
you just got to accept it and go.
You got to accept it because it's just unrealistic to be in control. Things happen all the time.
Listen, it's when you're trying to be in control, it's as though you're swimming against the current. Can anybody ever swim against the current or a rip? Really?
You're not going to survive.
What happens?
You will drown.
Exactly, right? So OCD is similar to that. But if you just switched it and changed your perspective and swim with the current, so your energy and perspective changes accordingly, your energy levels becomes where your perception and your projection is, you'll be okay, and you won't feel that need of control, because the energy of the universe and everything is going, let's say, this way, but you're going this way, you're going to get stuck and feel like shit. That's when OCD comes out. I gotta control. What do you mean you gotta control? You gotta let go, loosen up and just go with it. Because if you're going against it, it's gonna cause you more pain and trauma and disease and other things instead of luxury, contentment and whatnot.
Beautiful. So I think Sajida did answer that very well. Do we want to move on? Yeah?
Yes.
Sajida. Okay, correlation between doTerra and NLP.
Oh, my computer's. Okay, having combined the essential oils through my field has helped elevate clients by at least 20 to 50%. No joke. What I've done with my field is I've created, like, depending on the client, and I know their background over the phone and why they're coming, I've ordered a lot of these little bottles from overseas, and I actually combine essential oils according to their needs: anxiety, PCOS, hypochondriacs, we've got agoraphobias, we've got all types of people out there with different phobias, beliefs, anxieties, depression. I create and customize oils according to them, so when they come, and I also run the same oil in the room to get them to feel calm, congruent, and actually open up and create that rapport between me and them straight away through their neurology, through their sense of smell, right? And I give it to them as a gift. So whenever they're stressed and they're not seeing me, they've got something to lay back on, and they just rub it in certain areas depending on their needs. What happens then the next time they come, it's pretty much like I'm anchoring a connection between my work and the oil, and creates that healing process to become even more stronger and whatnot. Not so I can open up doors to doTerra and sell, because I don't sell doTerra, even though I've got it on my website. It's not my perspective of it. It's because it actually works. It helps me help them in that process. I'll give you a quick scenario, actually. I had a lady that couldn't come to my office. She was crying out for help, an older lady. And she had severe anxiety, panic attacks, leaving the home because she was fearing she was going to die if she left her house. She was trapped for 2 years, pretty much. She was, I think, 60-something, 62. And it was because her close friend had passed away from cancer. So she thought, that's it, she's next. I actually saw that lady 2 to 3 times in my life, and that was it. That was enough. I created the oils. I put her on a few vitamins. One of them is ashwagandha. Has anybody heard of this?
I'm on that.
Amazing.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, that helps with stress reduction, anxiety, depression, and everything. It's natural. There's no side effects, and it gets you congruent with your own mind, being, and everything. This lady, all I did was prescribe her this, prescribe her some Serenity, also prescribed her.
Can you explain Serenity capsules for some people that won't know? Because that's an American, so it's a doTerra, it's lavender capsules. You buy it from the US site. They're Serenity capsules.
This is the best thing. This is life. This you use for almost anything. So people that have insomnia and suffer insomnia, this is the best, better than actual medication.
Wow.
That's one thing, okay? Obviously, if you have insomnia, that's not going to be enough. You need to work what was going on in your mind that's created the insomnia, because your mind's like OCD, overthinking while you're sleeping. That's what's going on, right? This is one step to help you through that process while you're doing emotional therapy and timeline therapy with NLP and whatnot. What is it good for? Kids. Oh my God, it's the best thing ever. You're going on a holiday, okay, and it's 4 hours and they don't shut up. Give them 1 capsule each and watch. You can listen to anything the whole way there. They won't even ask to go to the toilet because they're too dozed off.
So what do they usually give on planes? The cough syrup?
Well, I don't use that because my kids have the opposite reaction.
Yes, that's right. I know that.
Again?
So a lot of people, when they go on planes, they give their kids cough syrups to try and
Panogan.
However,
Makes my kids jump.
Yeah, some kids, it makes them hyperactive, and you don't.
All 3 of mine.
So Serenity all the way.
100%. You know, when you go on a flight and it is going to start the flight, 20 minutes before the flight is going to board, literally give 1 to each child. You even pop 2 so you can calm down. You don't have anxiety. and off you go. The kids are hectic. They're just cruising it. They're on their iPads. They don't know what's happening. And it's like, cool, their ears don't even hurt anymore because they're just so calm. It's lavender, internal. And by the way, I've given it to my kids and my daughter was only 2. Yep.
I was going to ask you, can kids ingest those capsules? Yep.
Yeah, my kids can. I play with their neurology. I make them do whatever I want.
Well, sorry, can I ask?
Yes, Ajita.
See how you said your kids ingest and it was only 2. Did you like smash it before you gave it to them? How did you give it to them?
No, I'll show you what this looks like. It's actually a gel capsule and you cannot smash it. It's very soft. This is a new packet. So let me just open this and show you what it actually looks like. It's so tiny. If it pops in their mouth, it'll taste a bit bitter because it's lavender. Look how small this thing is.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's easy. It slips down.
Okay. All right.
So you just got to reframe their mind. You just got to tell them, oh my God, it's like a lolly, but don't bite it. Just swallow it.
Okay.
You know, it'll make you feel good later.
I like that. It's a lolly. Just
exactly. Now, through continuous experimenting, I have found that not only help the cognitive behavior, but the overall well-being and energy levels have peaked. That's with my clients when I prescribe them oils and whatnot. Understanding the brain isn't so complex. People will think, oh my goodness, how do you know so much? And the brain, it's so hard to understand. It's not. If we can combine the correct therapies to release any of our stuck states or traumas, providing our body with nutritional food, having adequate amount of sleep, and changing the way we see, sense, smell the environment through oils will certainly change how we live our life and our perspective towards it. And that's the truth, because without your mental, emotional health, as we said before, the EPS, then you're not congruent. There's something missing. There's something lacking. You cannot just be spiritually connected. I'm spiritually connected, emotionally there, but physically I'm not. No, something's always missing. So it's a whole package. It's not just oils. It's not just food. It's not just nutrition. It's a combination. It's the way you live your life to move forward. Absolutely. There's a little quote I've got here: forgive others, not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve to move forward in life. Oh, a lot of people that's going to be out of their comfort zone in this. Probably 50%, if not more. Put your hands up if that's making you feel very uncomfortable.
Would you find people like
people
who are forgiving? Yeah, Jess, I'm quite a forgiving person as well.
Yeah.
I can let go.
Do you pick and choose what you're going to forgive?
No, I think I always try and put the perspective of everyone makes mistakes. I make mistakes.
Yeah.
I've screwed up. I've hurt people that I love, not on purpose. We're all human, and I love people to give me that what is it, like a leeway.
Yes.
Repeat offenders, but in general, everybody makes mistakes.
I'm gonna go back to you with the ex and the offenders and whatnot. Situations like that with severe and heavy traumas. It's not about forgiving the perpetrator because they deserve forgiveness. They don't. For all I care, they deserve absolutely nothing. Okay, they deserve nothing except to look down on, right? But it's for the actual person. They're not forgiving them for them. They don't deserve forgiveness, but they're forgiving them to untie that knot attached to that heavy trauma. Let's just say it was sexual abuse. The perpetrator doesn't deserve the forgiveness, but you deserve the forgiveness. And I know a lot of people have gone through things that they've held deep inside because, and it creates anger and fear and anxiety and bitterness moving forward because you just hate on the world because of this. But you're not forgiving them. You're forgiving the situation, the scenario of what happened so you can move forward and detach from that road that's always pulling you back to that event and that ugliness of the feeling that you have. Does that make sense? It gets very uncomfortable to try to think about it. But once you understand the concept, it's not because they deserve it. It's not for them. It's for you. Does anyone want to abbreviate on that if anyone's experienced something like that in a different scenario or trauma? They've had to let go of something very heavy.
Yeah, I had to let go of a toxic relationship, of a friendship. And that was very hard. I didn't realize it was eating me up so much inside. And finally one day it tweaked after a lot of mindfulness sessions with my naturopath. And it finally tweaked. This was a toxic relationship. It was all she was taking and I wasn't getting anything out of it. And I was just doing what she wanted. So that was really hard to let go, but now I know what that's like. I know where I can give and you know, and if I'm not receiving anything at all, well then, you know, it's to part ways. But does that make sense?
How did you feel? Yeah, it does. How did you feel when you actually made that decision?
Oh, it was like a huge weight lifted. That's why I love this quote, and I it's not uncomfortable for me. It's perfect.
Amazing. So it's just that lift. It's like, oh my God.
It was. It really was.
Finally. And you know what you could notice from that? Did you even have, just for a minute, did you notice any pain in your neck or shoulders at the time?
Yeah.
When you released that, did the neck and shoulders release?
Much better, yes. I still have that now, but at the moment I'm breastfeeding my daughter. So yeah, I've got that back now, but that's a different situation.
Yeah. And the reason why I mention that is because your unconscious mind sends you signals in your body and creates this ease and pain in certain areas, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And those certain areas represent certain trauma, pain, or wherever it's coming from. When we have a toxic relationship, you always notice you find pain here. If it's your family, you'll notice the lower back. Every part of your body calls out for help from something utilizing your unconscious mind. That's your unconscious mind telling you, hello, Jess, you've got a problem. So it starts to create pain for you. So having my background, I suffered 7 years of a pinched nerve, chronic pain in my neck that I needed a surgery for. I reversed that through timeline therapy.
So you can do it on yourself.
Yeah. But obviously you've got to be trained.
No.
You've got really strong will to know how to do that on yourself. It takes a lot of willpower. A lot of willpower. But I released that. So the pinched nerve is no longer pinched. The doctor was like, that is phenomenal. I cannot believe what you did. You healed yourself. And since then, I move left, right, up and down, no more pain. Nothing triggers it because I know how to control my emotion. So it's quite amazing.
Isn't that interesting? I had a pinched nerve many years ago, and nothing could get rid of the pain except heat. And obviously, whatever problem was happening at the time was so long ago, I don't remember now. Bit of heat, applying some deep, like not deep heat, just the heat pack, and whatever the problem was resolved, and I was fine. So that's quite interesting.
Did you notice that your pain moved somewhere else, or you end up with a different problem later on?
I probably did end up.
Yeah.
Sorry, go.
Because you might have connected the heat to release it, but then it moved somewhere else. Because if your emotion hasn't been released from the issue from where the pain came, it'll come somewhere else.
It probably did. It was like 12 years ago now, but that's very interesting.
Awesome.
Sarah, if you want to see the chat, there's a couple of comments about mum-in-laws, about family members, close family members who are triggering them.
So that's what is it? We're looking at, is it Alma? I can relate to all that you say. Mum-in-law, I'm trying to forgive, but just the thought triggers me 0 to 100, 1,000. Wow. Been there, done that. I feel your pain, sister. I can tell you that much. All right. You need to forgive. Not for her. She doesn't deserve it. She's bitter. She's old. God knows what went wrong with her life. She's jealous of you. Put it that way. I'm going to just summarize it. 90% of mother-in-laws, put your hand up if you believe me, they're jealous of you. You took the
up in the chat.
platter. How could you do that? You took the bloody shop front and ran for your life. Of course she's going to do all those things. And if not more, you'll be, you're lucky if she doesn't do more than that. But yeah, you'd need to understand and control how that person manipulates your mind, because then that means you're very suggestible. So you need to control your mindset in how you receive information from her, let's just say. I don't know if you're the one that's getting manipulated, or it's your husband or your children or whatnot. Trying to forgive, but just the thought triggers you. What's holding you back? What would happen if you forgave her? Maybe if there's a voice, you can respond.
Almas, do you want to answer? Or if you're comfortable only with the chat, you can do that. But it'd be good if you want to talk. You can stay with no video, just unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi sisters. Actually my little one was too loud, so that's the reason I had turned my mic off. So with the situation that I mentioned, it was always with me and my sister-in-law. So my mother-in-law, she used to make me feel very little and low in front of her. The way she used to treat her, the way she used to do things for her, and also manipulating my husband. So all these things, and in front of me she used to be very sweet, and I couldn't believe what was happening. But then
Is this your mother-in-law or your sister-in-law?
the truth always truth always
Shema, it's breaking up.
shows up. So when I figured out, it was
Alma, I
hard for
think
me to
you've got a bad reception.
digest,
I'm going to mute.
feeling I had trismy. Hello?
Yep. Hello?
All right, I muted her and now I unmute.
She's, yep.
Okay.
Could you all hear me?
Yeah, but you were breaking up. I don't know, maybe it's the position you are in the house. What's the internet?
Oh, okay. Sorry. So the things that I felt and the things that I saw, they were different. So it was hard for me to believe and what I'm feeling. So I didn't know if I should believe myself or just go with the flow. And, because my husband made me feel I'm the bad guy because I was thinking all those things. He thought that it's just in my head. And it was just my negative reflections, my insecurities made me feel that. But I would feel that the other person is making me feel insecure by doing things that are actually hurtful. A little action can also be hurtful. So, yeah.
Just a
I'm
question.
I try.
Alma,
Sorry?
just a question. If you're comfortable to answer this, you may. Do you love yourself?
I'm on a journey to love myself, actually.
Okay.
It has taken me a long time because all the truth that people have told me, which is not actually the truth, I have believed it a lot. So it's taking me quite a long time to get back to love myself. And that's the reason I'm here with 2 years of postnatal depression, because it took me 1 year to figure out that I was having postnatal depression.
You notice that that's actually your unconscious mind. So what happens, you mentioned that they make you feel low, okay? Nobody can make you feel low unless you accept them, allowing them to make you feel low. Does that make sense? It's a decision you consciously and unconsciously make in that moment. When you begin to realize that you're in control over your emotions and your values and beliefs and whatnot are being met by filtering the information that's coming from the outside world, you will not feel that sensation. But when we devalue ourselves
So
as
true.
human beings, and that's why I asked you, do you love yourself? Because when we fall off that wagon and we drop our self-worth, self-love, self-respect by accident, when somebody throws something at us, we accept it. And then we feel crap. And then, you'd have the issue where your husband reversed it back on you, that you're doing this and that's your own way of thinking. He may have a point to a certain degree because that's his perception through your projection that's coming out. Okay, he must have seen something and it could be even a part of him also. But your journey of self-love is amazing, good for you, but it's definitely stemming from there. That's why you're finding it difficult to forgive the process and you're absorbing information which is allowing you to create more disease, which is depression in your scenario, the postnatal depression that you have. It's because you're trying to correlate it with something else in your body to get out of it. So you don't have to reflect and fix it there and there. So your unconscious mind, as I was saying to Jess, creates pain in the body or something or dis-ease if you're not controlling the emotion and actually observing it, learnings, and move on.
True. And I truly agree with that because I have been having the chronic migraines and my and the right shoulder is very stiff. These were all the things that got me to my naturopath, and my naturopath, she suggested me about essential oils, and that's how I started my education and educating myself over it. And today, this workshop, I really wanted to get into this workshop because this was something to do with mental health and also the oils. So this was something I just really didn't want it to miss. And I'm so happy that Chai gave me, Sister Chai, she gave me a chance. And I'm so thankful that I'm here.
Thank you. No, thank you for investing your time and effort in yourself to actually grow through your life experiences. That's amazing, because to actually take that initial step, you've taken that step to improve every aspect of your life, which is a domino effect for you, even your two future generations of your kids. So take my hat off for that.
And being vulnerable.
Yeah, because I just want to break the generational trauma. I don't want to pass it on to my daughter anymore. And this is not me. This is not at all me. I want to rediscover and regain myself back, because 8 years, I have just lost my personality. I have just lost my views and thoughts. When my friends and when my siblings, they sit with me and they remind me, this was not you. This was what you thought 8 years ago. So where is that? So these all questions, they made me get myself on my toes. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's cool. I'm glad you're on this journey. Definitely the oils will be a stepping stone for you, just a stepping stone to get you there. But it's because your mental state and your physical state are not congruent together like this. And that's what's going on.
Yeah.
That's why the pain, not the forgiving and that bitterness of everything going on is because you're not congruent, because you're not aligned. You were something, but things happened that detached you from it within yourself. And that's why you feel that way. It's just balance. It's now creating that balance. Good that you're doing the naturopath, you're cleansing, you're detoxifying, maybe even better way of thinking towards food and eating. And then you're looking at oils to help improve that sense as well. But also mental health is very important to look at, because that creates that congruency to combine back again. And then you have the full package and you're complete, like you were, but better than before. Because now your new life experiences create better life aspects for you moving forward. You're more mature, you've learned more things, you know how to deal with people more. So through all those things, as much as it's harsh, you be thankful to the universe that's actually sent it your way, because if you didn't go through that, you wouldn't be here right now learning more.
So true. So true. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you everyone in the chat room for being so patient and listening to me. And it's just very I want to thank you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Okay, there was another question. Close family member caused lots of issues, lots of anxiety caused from it. I have now stopped speaking. Stop speaking. What do you mean by that? You actually physically stopped speaking? The other day, I actually said to myself, I'll forgive everything that was said for myself, but won't be talking again. So you've conditioned yourself to believe something else. You've created a limiting decision. It's amazing the release, forgive as it will. But do you feel choked here? Do you feel your chest is tight and you're choked? Michelle, are you there? Would you like to unmute yourself?
Hi, how are you, Sarah?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, it was lots and lots of issues. Lots of things being said. So, okay, every Friday night we'd be at their place and lots of little things would be said, and I'd come home and I'd be feeling really deflated after possibly a really good week, and lots of things had come up. We actually had a sister-in-law pass away, and the last time that we spoke, something got said that I was the cause of everything, which I feel was a comment regarding my sister-in-law that passed, because she was very sick. Everybody was overseas, and I took her to the hospital. From that day, she never came out. She became a double amputee. Her diabetes went through the roof. Her liver, her kidneys failed, and everything like that. So I think they blame me for that. And it finally got to a point where I looked at my home life, and myself and my husband weren't great. I was always yelling at my kids, and I thought to myself, what is all this? And I looked at it and thought it's from that. It's from every week something one
Yeah.
little thing being said, and it could be the sky is purple, and that would irritate me, or something like that. And I thought, you know what? I need to change me. I need to forgive that everything was said, what was said, but I can't go back to that toxic area,
Which is the
which is that family dynamic. And I have always said that it's my husband's family. You go do what you've got to do. I will never stop you seeing them. I'll never. Yet he
That's
hasn't
right.
seen them. He has backed me up, thank gosh. He's seen what it did, and it's better us. It's made my home life here
Healed.
so much better. I'm not so angry with my children. But then that last step was I had to forgive to help me.
To let go.
And yeah, and to the other lady, if she's listening, it's so hard to say, I forgive. But once you do it for yourself, I was amazed with the feeling that it gave. It was such a release. And I feel like I can use my oils better now because I'm calmer within myself.
That's amazing.
If that makes
That's amazing. That's really good. Good for you. So you made that conscious choice to forgive just so you can move on. You did that all by yourself.
Yeah. I suffer quite badly from anxiety, so I'm trying to use my mental state to help with that. And I thought, this is one major thing in my life, and I think I need to mentally fix that to help me get through all the little
What
bits and
happened with your
pieces.
anxiety? What happened with your anxiety now, Michelle?
Speaking about it now, I could feel it. It still really gets to me. I can feel my anxiety quite high.
You
But
know
because
why?
it's not in us and around us and everything like that, normally, other than tonight, my anxiety, I haven't had it. I haven't. When my kids are sick, I normally used to get really bad anxiety. Oh my gosh, my kids are sick, and what am I going to do? And where now it's like, it's okay. Rub some flute on your feet. Rub some, put your diffuser on. But speaking about it now and speaking out, it's like I can feel my heart is racing.
Do you know why is that? Because of the fear. The fear, because it's the known and your comfortable zone, right? And your body has become accustomed to that behavior trait that you've created due to the outside scope of people that provoked certain things that devalued your beliefs, and hence why it hyped the anxiety. So when talking about it, your body wants to release it, but it knows no better, so it creates the feeling associated. That, I'll ask you a quick question. What would happen, right, while you're feeling anxious now, if you go 15 minutes after the successful completion of being anxious, okay, in the future, and you look back at yourself now, just 15 minutes. So what would it be, 9:47 now? Say 10 o'clock at night, right? It's 10 o'clock at night. You look back at yourself right now after the successful completion of you feeling anxious like you are now. What would happen? How do you feel? Try that for me in your mind.
That I was okay because I was able to talk about it.
And right now, when you're speaking to me and you're talking, do you feel that the anxiety dropped, or still then your heart is racing?
If I tell you the truth, when you were speaking, in my mind, I just took a deep breath in so I could listen to you clearer. And it has dropped by half.
Good. And then what I want you to do, just for a second, so we can bring it down to zero and you can enjoy the rest of the show. Take a deep breath in and close your eyes for me, and go in your future 15 minutes after the successful completion of feeling anxious. Turn around and look at now. How do you feel?
Calm.
Good. All right. And what I want you to
Wow.
do is just come back to now and open up your eyes. How do you feel now when we're talking?
Calm. I have a smile on my face.
Amazing. So that, what did we just do? This is slight timeline therapy for anxiety. Okay, you do that enough times, it goes forever. So what did we do? What happened? We got you to see another perspective in your mind towards fear, because fear just makes you feel concreted in the ground, right? You cannot move. So then it hypens the activity of your brain and the endorphins, which are behind here, in your mind, and it's like a fight and flight response. When I talk about the problem, it brings up this feeling, and then my solar plexus, which is the top part of your stomach, starts to contract and causes all these emotions to happen. When I take you to the future, you look back at yourself then, the feeling goes, because you realize 15 minutes in the future, there is no problem. It was in your mind.
Wow, it's so powerful.
It is.
Yeah. And that's like, yeah, when I said to myself, so my husband said, oh, my mum sent me this thing on WhatsApp and around Ramadan and forgiving people and stuff like that. And I said, you know what, I think we need to do this. I think we need to forgive. And yeah, and we both, you know, did that whole deep breath, and he's not into all this stuff, accepts it all. But
Cool, man.
yeah, he's a male. And he even said that he felt so much calmer, that we all felt calmer around, even the kids in the background.
You know what? You created a beautiful, beautiful healing source of energy, and you brought it from the universe in your house by doing that. You released the negative, toxic parts of you out to the universe, and you allowed it to expel, and you just brought in the beautiful light. That's what you did. You're like in the quantum physics of energy. That's how the universe works. So pretty much like the waves that I was saying in the ocean, you didn't go against it. You went with it, with a different perception, which created that right flow for you. And that's why the whole house, even the kids, will probably be calm, and no one's screaming. They'll sleep well that night, and nobody wake up, and nobody have, nobody wet their bed, because the whole atmosphere becomes calm due to the energy you just brought in by expelling something and bringing in something beautiful.
Yeah, nice.
Good for you.
It's very, very hard to do, very hard to say, you know, you forgive and stuff like that. But yeah, whoever needs to do it, if you can find a way to do it for yourself, not for the other people, as you were saying, Sarah, it changes a lot. It changes a lot in your motion,
because they're already doing what they're doing. Michelle, they're doing what they're doing. They're not going to change.
They're going to constantly keep doing it. That's it. Yeah, you've got to change you for you.
Yes, exactly. And when you change you for you, there are two options for them. They either change their perspective, or they follow your traits. If anything, you would have done something great for someone else at one point in their life. You never know.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right.
So just conscious of time, because almost.
Yes, we have gone over time, guys.
Yeah. So do you want to maybe give one more thing? You mentioned some oils before we went live, the copaiba, some other claricalm.
Yes, let me just quickly brief that. If you want to flick, we won't go through the oil blends, so we won't go through that because we won't have enough time. I've done these setups for people, whoever may have any of these or know someone. You can actually do it yourself. If somebody has panic attack, agoraphobia, or feel like the lady I was telling you, you can create your own oil utilizing these: frankincense, 3 drops, lavender, 4 drops, peppermint, 2 drops, marjoram, 3 drops, copaiba, 3 drops, and bergamot, 2 drops. You'll note at the bottom says always add carrier oil. If you don't, you're in trouble, because it can sting the skin and other problems you can have. It also says inhale 3 times a day.
Just don't worry about writing these or anything. These slides will be provided on the Natural Homing website, so don't freak out. You will have access to these. Are there other blends? There's some other.
This one is a really good one for everyone here. The high stress reduction. That's a very long mix, but it works. It's amazing. So you got the Melissa, you got the German chamomile. That's really good. It's soothing. Lavender, rose, clary sage, jasmine, bergamot, and lang lang. My favorite is lang lang. Yeah, that works amazing, and it's like a feng shui for the house too. Moving forward, Shay, you can explain this part.
Yes, so today is the last day for 20% off starter packs to start your oil journey, because some people have been referred to by someone. So the person who invited you to this particular Zoom, reach out to them and they will plug you in on the best starter pack for you. The most popular top 10 oils in the small size. And the Home Essentials is the biggest bargain that I've ever seen doTerra have. 20% off, but you also get the pilot diffuser, 3 extra oils, so a house diffuser as well as 1 for in your car, And doTerra has also curated an emotional wellness starter pack as well. So these are specific blends for uplifting, for grounding, for energy, and for stress relief. So Adaptive has, for example, in it Magnolia. I'm sure some of your blends, they will be very, very similar to what doTerra has created anyway. And Serenity capsules. Serenity in America is Lavender Peace in Australia. They just have different names. And Lavender Peace is in that emotional wellness starter pack as well. So reach out to the person who invited you, and let's see what we have here as well. I think if you just want to wrap up, because it is getting quite late, Sarah, is there anything, parting words you'd like to think? I think if you would be able to, because I don't know how you would use this, the Copaiba soft gels and the Clary Calm, those two things.
Okay.
I'm very interested in the Copaiba soft gels particularly.
I'll quickly do Clary Calm. Clary Calm, you've got periods, you've got PCOS, you're suffering, you don't want to do any more deodorants, you want to be a toxic-free life, this is the best thing to do, use. So for deodorant, pain, just put on your lower back and your pelvic section at the front. When you've got the cramps, it will help a lot, and even with PCOS. This is really good when you combine it with Blackmore's cranberry, 1500 milligrams. This will actually reverse PCOS, by the way. You will not have it anymore. Okay? But you need to believe it first. Another thing, Copaiba soft gels. What is that for? Urine tract infections, stinging in your urine, the heaviness. Now that definitely gets released in timeline therapy, because there's some attachment with your children, conflict with your mom, your dad, something like that, with that sort of lineage. But this definitely helps the process until you do the right therapy to release that emotion, so you don't get the problem again. Because I know there's a lot of unusual things out there that creates that pelvic problem and nutcracker syndrome, and you've got urine tract infections, continuous. What else? There's a number of things out there.
So that was you said. So
What was it?
UTIs and pelvic issues is linked
Yes.
to with children and families.
Yes. Yes, it's your family, your immediate family, your sisters, brothers, your kids. If you look at something online, if anybody wants to research and enjoys researching and reading, I'd recommend you jot this down, Roby chart. It'll get you an idea to understand how your unconscious mind sends pain and signals to each part of your body. It gives you a nice definition.
Could you type that in the chat or read it out for me? So I can
Yeah. I'll type it out here right now. So the Roby chart. Search that, have a look, and you understand what everything means. So if you look at the pelvic area, you understand what the scope means, and you'll know why this would help with it. But obviously, you would need timeline therapy to release that emotion, so you don't have that problem anymore. Another one, try ease. My favorite. I've got supposedly hay fever. My son's got hay fever. I don't like medication. I just have one of these. Hay fever, sinus, drainage. What you do also, if you've got really bad hay fever, aloe vera. Make sure you grow aloe vera in your garden, please. It's very important. It's expensive eventually if they ever sell in the market. Take a piece of it, crush it with some alkalized water, and put some in the back of your nose, back of your throat. It'll heal the whole section, any infections, any inflammation, any sinus issues, blockages, even for kids, even if they're infants, even if they're 2 weeks old. You can do the same thing with the drops of aloe vera. Because you go to a hospital and they can't do anything, you do that within a couple of hours, the kid can breathe. This is for adults, not for kids, but I do give it to my son. As I said, I experiment with my children. He's 7 and he gets one of these as well. When he burps peppermint. It is an amazing one.
As the wellness advocate, I'm going to say, do not let children ingest. I have to say that.
I'm a bit different.
Yeah.
So you...
No, the wellness advocate. Yeah, so I've put them in the chat. If you want to screenshot the chat, because I don't know in the recording if what is on the chat. Yarapom, this, I can see what you told me about this.
This is my favorite thing. So the ladies here that are suffering stress, other than the blend that you saw up there, and when you get the actual, the thing that is uploaded up here, Yarapom, 1 drop under your tongue, on your face. You got cellulite? Slap it on there. You got stretch marks? Slap it on it. You've got wrinkles over here? Slap it on it. You got wrinkles there? Put it. It starts to actually it actually starts to fix up the skin. The smell is not the best, but when you put the drop under your tongue, you no longer have anxiety to a certain degree. It works really well. That's amazing. I love it. It's expensive. I think it's $150 a bottle, but it lasts you a while. Depends what areas you're using it for.
So it's 140, and the cesarean scar as well.
it's dropped.
Now, Yarrapom, we usually call it liquid Botox, and I have heard people putting it under the tongue for stress, but coming from you as well, saying that you can do it that way. It's got yarrow, which is a flower, and pomegranate oil. So you can ingest it, 1 drop under the tongue, and it's a 30 ml bottle, so it will last a long time. The smell, like you said, you get used to it.
Yeah, your husband will never like it. Trust me.
Yeah,
Try it.
I've gotten used to it, I feel. It's just like, that's it, you know? It's not the best smelling thing. Just
No, that's why I just put it on under your tongue and put it on those cellulite areas when your husband's at work.
yeah, exactly.
I'm just trying to see my notes.
Questions for Sarah while she's just checking out oils or things as we wrap up. And Sajida, I want you to give me, she's been doing the 3 raffles for me. So if you can type the winners in, actually send it to me in a message so we can.
Can I, just as we wrap up, can I quickly give some 5-second advice? Anybody that has kids and wants to use oils, this is the best pack ever. It comes with this little thing and explains each oil, what it does. So you've got one that's called Stronger, you've got Tamer, Calmer, Thinker, Rescuer, and it gives you information what it does for each kid. It helps them when they're studying, they're stressed. You can use it on them. It's a great pack. Something else I'd like to advise everyone, this thing, this is life. This stuff, I'll write it in the notes, okay? Everybody should invest in this. It detoxifies your stomach. It creates a better lining and inflammation. Do you have, what is it called? I forget the word, something, phlegmasia, there's inflammation.
Yeah.
That one,
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that word. This helps.
Yeah.
This helps. You got inflammation. You got the urinary tract infection. You've got bleeding. This helps. You got any types of infection. This helps. Drink it every day. It's just 1 teaspoon if you want, or it comes with this big bottle. Tastes disgusting to put this much, but anyway, put it in just a bottle of water and sip it throughout the whole day. It clears your whole body. I'll write it in the notes so you can get a hold of that. It's definitely recommended. Winter's coming along. I recommend everybody has this in their home. Syrup for kids, capsules for adults. Every day you must drink one. Brings up your immune system so you don't fall into the flu, you don't do the flu vaccine, and also if you don't want to have antibiotics. Kids start to sniffle, give them 5 ml a day of the actual syrup. It tastes a bit bitter, but it's okay. Give them some honey afterwards. They will actually eliminate the flu within 24 hours. This stuff is the best, yeah? This is life, olive leaf extra. Just quickly, for people that love reading, this is the best book. I've had this for 15 years. Here, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. So anybody that loves reading, this will, and you're on a journey for self-healing, self-love, self-care, self-respect, I'd recommend you read this, invest in this. So Louise Hay, Now You Can Heal Your Life. Another thing, just quickly for anybody here that suffers any type of disease, I'm wrapping up, I'm sorry. I love this guy, I worship him, Medical Media, Cleanse to Heal. This is the big book that he's got, okay? I've got all his books. He's got the Medical Medium book. He's got Healing the Thyroid. He's got the liver. This teaches you and gives you a new perspective of how to eat, drink, and it's got detox, actual recipes and menus and explanation of every condition you have, why you have it, and how you can, what you can do to reverse it. You can reverse every disease, yeah? It starts with the mindset and then the creating the right foods, environment, and healing, as I said before. Last book, I'm sorry, because I'm a big reader and I've only given you minimal, okay? Because I've read hundreds and hundreds of books. Again, it's a very old book, but this one is just like something that sits within my heart. The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. If you're on a journey of soul searching and you're on a journey of finding who you are, your identity, this is the best book to start off with Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. That's why I've just given you guys both of those. Just the people that like to read and would like to add something additional to their shelves. Other books, I'm not going to go through it, but doTerra Selvies. You want to understand oils, food, and how it works? You've got this one, and I'm sure Shay can actually explain them. and this one.
Yeah.
They're your Bibles. This is what you live by. This is the good stuff. And that's it for now. I've got a lot more, but we're short on time.
Okay, so I'm going to share the winners for the free oils. There's 3 of them, and I just DM me either on my Instagram page or on my number if you have it. So Demu, Tuba, and Hannah, your free oils are coming your way. Well done. Thank you all for coming. I'm sure you found it just as informative as I did. I'm going to actually try and save the chat if I can do that, because
Sarah, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So with the aloe vera and sinus, what do you say to put it in your, how do you say to use it through your nose?
So you know the syringe that you give the kids medication, like
Yeah.
or whatever?
Yeah.
The little thing, just 1 ml. So 1/2 ml in each nose, administrate it for little children, and even for yourself and the back of your throat. If you have sinus, it will drain it.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Pleasure there. Any other questions for Sarah? No? Beautiful. Thank you all so much for spending the night with us. I know there's so much more information. We need to get you back on to read. It was so informative. Thank you all for hopping on and being very vulnerable as well. And again, thank you so much, Sarah, for your amazing advice. And if you want to contact her, her business is called Beyond NLP Coaching. So you can find her on Instagram if you want her details. I know I already got a lot of DMs about your details. You can contact me. I will pass them on to you as well.
Perfect. It was a pleasure to talk to all of you. Thank you for taking the time to
Thank
listen.
you.
It's amazing. And good luck all of you on the journey.
Thank you.
See you guys. Have a lovely night.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.